Hi, I'm U.S. Weather Analyst Andrew Fleck around your 4 o'clock on your Monday afternoon. And on this video segment, I'm going to be talking about the short to long range. And I'm going to kind of catch up on what's currently going on here. I'm going to talk about the current weather and what it seems that the pattern is trying to trend into. And instead of using the usual map I use, I'm going to try to add some color into it. A lot of folks are having trouble with the red lines and the green lines and a lot of that. So I'm going to kind of go and give more of a better illustration here. This also helps with indicating high pressures and low pressures as well. So of course, as you might not know or might know, the blue colors, the cooler colors that look, that's actually colder air and indications of a system in ways of like a low pressure system. Of course, the warmer colors, the oranges, the reds, that's warmer air, more indicating high pressure area. So as I scroll through here, before I do and I give you the whole observation here, I'm going to actually go through and just let you see, okay, without me talking, what the pattern looks to be setting up for. And I'm going to start exactly the time that I'm doing this video, and I'm going to let it go out 2 weeks. And you can kind of see when I animate it how quick it goes, and kind of you see how the pattern, how it works. And the one thing that I want you guys to watch is I want you guys to watch right now with what the east does, and then I want you to watch in a week or two how the east looks. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. So here we go. So, what did we see from just scanning through this video here? Well, what we saw is the current weather observation of what's going on right now. You're having most of your trough and everything digging out across the west. Okay, but what's happening is this up here, okay, this guy up here, he is like the mother lode of cold air right now. And what he's doing is he's throwing down, okay, when he comes down or he marches down a little bit, he's throwing down a trough. Okay, that's where your storm is today across Texas. And what happens is then as we scroll through, then what happens is he comes down, strengthens, pulls that system back up, okay, into him. Then what happens is now he throws down another trough over the west, has another system form down here, colder air trough splitting down once again. Here comes a stronger system coming in, now really pushing down. Now let's watch what happens here. Okay, 84. Now it gets brought up again, but here's what happens. Let's go back to 84. Here's the system up here around northwest Canada. Okay, here's this system. Just like the East Coast, everybody knows when you have a storm that goes up this way, sometimes it transfers to the coast. Well, we have the same thing happening here. One storm up here, one storm down here. Given that it is a high pressure or a low pressure, it's going to shift this storm right up to the mid-northwest area. And with that, those two storms get together and they bomb out. They bomb out around this coming Saturday. Now this looks pretty intense once you say, given how it looks. I'm not exactly certain. All I could say though is by weekend, if this confirms, you're going to be seeing absolutely warm weather across the east. If you're talking about warmer weather getting pulled all the way up across into Canada into this storm, that's pretty impressive in itself. But given two fronts, one north of the storm, one south of the storm, you're talking about possibilities of this confirming, seeing sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. That's how strong the front would be. And again, I'm just giving you graphics here, but that is impressive to see a storm like that up across the upper Midwest. Very impressive. So then as I moved into 120 here, what the storm does is now it's got enough strength, okay? Because what has killed the East Coast has been these high pressures. These high pressures have just continued to just block most of the East Coast from seeing cold weather. They saw warm weather, and heck, I enjoyed it. Okay, I like the high pressure, I like the warm weather, but the only way, and I said this in my past video discussions, was the only way that this high pressure was going to get out of here. It's like two football players fighting for position, was going to be if that one storm inland could be strong enough to push this thing out of here and start us new in the east. And let's see if that happens. 138, the storm comes through. Look at the east. The east is now in solidly some colder weather, that's for sure. That moves out. And now what happens is we have some more high pressures coming down from the northwest here. That's slinging a nice trough over the east. By 119, 120, we're seeing it looking good here. Now what happens is you have a high pressure, rejuvenates back, says I'm coming back, but look what happens, folks. Another storm as strong as the high pressure pushing it out. I like this pattern because this is finally starting to kind of clean out this high pressure junk that we've been seeing in the east. Again, it's been a nice weather time, but I want to see some colder weather. I want to see some whiter weather, and that storm right there is going to push that high out again. And then what we're going to have is another trough come down. And if this continues, the troughs are going to get deeper and continue to get deeper, and you're going to start to see colder weather across the east. Now, given now we're in the long range here, okay, that's going to be a stretch to really say if this confirms, but I like what the weather pattern's doing now. A lot of folks have to be very patient with what's going on. I really like, and I like this. Look at this storm system. I mean, this is like a blizzard in November, right? But again, this is long range, so I don't even want to get to that. But I mean, you got to point out the pretty cool things. But like I said, though, you know, given what we've seen in the short range, okay, we saw it 6 hours. We saw that there were storms coming down. They were pushing down from the trough. Then they angled back up into the cold air. Okay, and then by 84 hours, they did the same thing, came down, filtered. Okay, and then they formed finally a big storm that was big enough to knock this high pressure off the coast. And it did. And once another one comes out, another storm is able to knock this high pressure off the coast. And with that, enough cold air can come down and start giving the Northeast that back-to-back seasonal cold air that they should be witnessing at this time frame. So I gave you the kind of the summary of what's happening here. You got to be patient and let this month roll through. By November, you're going to start to be seeing a pattern start to take shape. I think one that's going to be a little stormy and one that's going to be a little colder over the Northeast. As for the West, you know what happens. When the Northeast has a trough, you have a ridge, and you get what the Northeast had. So it's going to be a little flip-flop coming in November, so we'll have to go and check out if that confirms. Now, as for the NAO on the main page, check out that. It gives you the PNA, the AO, and the NAO. So check out that as well for some graphical forecasts. So I am U.S. Weather Analyst for this video weather discussion, and I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday.